Hi, and welcome to Random Rogers Big Picture for the week of June 3rd. Boy, it's June already. How about that? Just one thing on the agenda. My attempt to try and deconstruct contrarian thinking. This is going to be kind of a difficult post or video. To kind of get what I'm saying, focus on the bigger picture of, kind of fear, decisions made out of fear and instinct, as opposed to the particulars, the details of the story. The story is far less important than the thought process behind the story. Hopefully that makes sense. A few weeks ago, I got an email in my Street.com account from someone who was interested in talking to us about having us manage his money. Specifically, he had been thinking that maybe now would be, this was in his email, that maybe he should think about hiring someone to do it for him. Usually with things like that, I give it to one of my colleagues to get in touch with the person and, see where it goes, and, either something happens or it doesn't. So I never spoke to the guy, and I don't really know whether or not he needed professional help. One thing that my website is about is the notion that if you don't want professional help and you want to do it yourself and try and know more about how to do it yourself, that I'm contributing in some manner to that. But anyway, this guy felt on some level that he needed to explore getting help or not. And to be clear, I don't know if he needed help, but whatever, he wanted to pursue it. And so we had done, I don't know exactly how much time my colleague had spent chatting on the phone with this person. It was a couple of conversations. I don't know if it was an hour or 90 minutes, no idea. But we had arranged a conference call, my colleague and I, along with this person. And early in the day before we were supposed to get together on the phone, he sent an email saying something about him believing that the market was really toppy and that this wasn't the time to hire someone. Well, who knows? Again, I'm saying this over for a fact of whether he needed someone or not, but he was questioning, clearly, to make contact with us on some level. He was questioning his ability to navigate the market. And so, not much has changed in the last couple of weeks, except we're a little higher. It doesn't really make sense to, basically his thinking was upside down, in that, if he's confused now, thinking the market is toppy, now is the time, if ever there were going to be a time, and maybe there shouldn't have been with this guy, but if ever there were going to be a time where he was going to get some sort of help, at a time when he's confused about the market, this is that time. And that was the context of why he was contacting us. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And to relate it more to something that is more tangible for more of the people that actually read my site and watch these videos, is when the market panics lower for some reason. We just had a tiny one in February. We just had one last, I guess it was June. We have these every so often where there's an absolute panic down. Selling into them in a meaningful way is always a mistake. The market always, how often do I write about, V-shaped versus U-shaped? And occasionally, this notion of, that being the wrong time to sell comes up as I talk to clients occasionally or talk to people interested in hiring us. And often I get the same type of question. Well, what if this just keeps going? And interesting question. It's a good question. And on a one-on-one debate, I'm never going to win that debate. But that is what everyone asks themselves. What if this time is different? And it just keeps cascading lower, which it never does. These things last a few weeks or whatever, and then the market snaps back to some degree and then works its way higher. This here, now, to be clear, I'm talking about panic sell-offs, not kind of slow rolling declines that people are very quick to dismiss and tell you shouldn't be afraid of. Those don't come along very often. In fact, they come less frequently than the market knifing down 20% in a month like it did in 98 or 6 weeks, like it did in 97, like it did in one day in 87. You know, these types of 20% things come along all the time, and when it's a panic, and believe me, you know when it's a panic, being able to buy into those, yeah, it's the right thing to do, but I'm more than empathetic with not being able to necessarily buy into that. That's tough to do. Even though it's the right thing to do, that is tough to do. It's much easier to see the market go down, 20% in a couple of weeks and not sell. That's something different. Not selling is different than buying. If you've got the stones to buy, more power to you. That is great, but and again, while it turns out to be the right thing to do, it's not something that I would be able to do for clients. They would just be too afraid. Just talking to them in general about showing them this is how it works, and in short-term declines and letting it come back. So it's this type of this is a type of contrarian thought, I think. I would urge you to think about this, the bigger picture, not the story, and apply this to other decisions related around your portfolio that you make. We all make bad decisions. That's unavoidable. But hopefully you can learn from them, and invariably some of the bad decisions that we each make involve either getting too bullish at the wrong time, like when everyone else is bullish, or too bearish when everyone else is afraid. Things along those lines. I'm not picking on the one guy. I don't even think he knows about the blog. Hopefully this is constructive. Have a good weekend.